Excuse me a second while I get this lighting right. I feel like it's not right. Come on. All right. Since I have so many friends on my list, I figured I would reintroduce myself. I used to go by Billington Banks, but my name is John Tell Tolan for those who are new to my page. Um, I quit cigarettes. I quit weed. There is a reason for that. Um, CBD. So I just want to say that real quick. Uh, okay. The one thing I want to touch on first is COVID-19. Um, I can't stress this enough. COVID-19 is real. It's not a hoax. This is not something that you should take lightly. Okay. Um, COVID-19 is real. Sorry. My my grandfather is in the hospital right now. Um, and COVID can cause a lot of complications. And my grandfather is of old age right now. Um, it's extremely frightening. I just don't want him to die alone in the hospital. I know he lived a long life. I know that he's ready, you know. Um, no one should have to suffer through the things that people with COVID are suffering through. And even though it may not affect you in the way that it affects someone else, you still have to keep in mind that it may affect someone else and kill their fucking lives. And you may be okay, but someone else may not. People are dying left and right. Hospitals are filling up. Lancaster, Chester County, they're filling up. As I'm literally here on live, something comes across my screen again about COVID-19. And people still are not taking this seriously enough. And it's starting to piss me off. I love my family and we're strong people, okay? Um, we've been through a lot of things, and not even just my family, all of us as Americans have been through a lot of things, okay? This whole year, we have been through fucking hell and back, okay? All of us, all of us. Though there are some people who want to complain that their kids' lives are being uh what's the word? I'm hearing of parents saying they're upset that their child can't play a certain sport or their schedule's getting messed up or they're a senior and they're worried about college. Fuck your college and fuck your college education because you know what? There are people dying because of this. There are people in school that went to school that are getting COVID, then going home, recovering, and going back to school and getting it again. People, it's become clear that there are a lot of people in America that don't care for other people's lives and show no regard whatsoever. times are getting hard and are only going to get harder. And the thing that we have to keep in mind and keep a grip on, number one, is mental health. Uh, Mental health is uh, for people of color, for Black people, especially Black men, it's not something that gets talked about or dealt with much. And for those that want to deal with it, it's like climbing a mountain, getting to the top and not knowing where you're going. People, not even just Black men, but Black women, people can harp and say all these things about Black people. But at the end of the day, all the things we fought for this year with police brutality and things that Black people have faced since the beginning of this nation, COVID-19 is a part of that. The whole year and everything that's happened, uh, it's all a part of the same thing. And just because we're quarantining, just because the country is shutting back down, does not mean that these issues shouldn't be talked about. If anything, they should be talked about more. If anything, if we're home, these are things that we should be talking about. But I'm not seeing that. I'm not hearing that. I've witnessed so much people, like, to me, it looks like people are just dropping like flies. And people seem to just go along with it. No one's no one seems to care. Um, that's not the case, because I know people care. I know people are fed up. I know people are drained. I know people are tired. I know people are grieving. There are so many people grieving. I'm grieving. But mental health. Okay, let's talk about this. So I personally had to quit abusing certain substances because I was using it to mask pain from certain things that I couldn't deal with, or didn't want to deal with because it was too painful. Thing is, if you don't stop and take care of those things as life is passing you, you're going to get left in the dust. You're going to you're going to be stuck. You're going to trip up. You can't proceed unless you're constantly going through these hoops and making these changes and growing as a person. And when you use a substance to coat and mask the pain, clearly there's underlying issues within our community. We tend to be poor. We tend to not have resources. Mental health issues are stigmatized issues that we don't normally talk about. When we do cry out for help, we just might have a knife in our hand and a cop might come and shoot us. That's how Black men with mental health issues get treated. You don't see many Black men getting admitted to a mental health hospital or thinking that they can reach out for that kind of help, or even knowing that they can reach out for that kind of help. Being an activist and doing the things that I did all year long, um, not only did I have loving, caring people around me that love me and want what's best for me, I also had been in this activism circle for a while and had opportunity and uh, resources around me to know that I could utilize if I needed to, right? A random black man on the street's not going to see things that way necessarily, or know that the way that they're acting may be a cry for help. Um, we're told to suck it up. We're told, we're acting this, that, and the third, when really it comes down to generational trauma or genetic depression. Um, and when you can't understand these things, and when a person's going through those things, it makes it even harder and can push people over the edge. What we have witnessed all year long with black men facing mental health issues and not getting the help that they need, instead getting put in a body bag, is something that I know not only just terrifies me, but it terrifies all of us, I'm sure. But black men especially, we're not talking about it. We're not getting the help that we need. A couple days ago, yesterday, I just got back to Lancaster. I checked myself into a hospital from the advisement of my closest friends, um, to reach out for help that I needed. And I'm proud to say that I did. I'm proud to say that I reached out for professional help. Did I get the help that I needed from there? No. But I was at least afforded the clarity, the moment of clarity, to have a respite, to get my mind together enough to know what I needed to do when I got back out on the other side and go for the resources that I needed. Not everyone has or can see or understand that these opportunities are out here. Hell, they're not even always advertised. What I mean to say is, this is a conversation that I will be talking about a lot more, and some of my friends will be talking about a lot more too. I want what I went through to be an example to learn from for someone else. I love all my brothers. I love my sisters too, and my non-gender conforming people as well. But this is specifically for my black men. We got to lift each other up. We got to be there for each other. And I'm speaking directly to my black men. We're in this together. Let's be open about things. Let's talk about things. We have to be here. We have to be present. And I'm going to take this back around. Knowing my grandfather doesn't have much time left, I think about what's important. I think about what impact I really am making on the world. I think about what my grandfather has shown me, what he has taught me and instilled in me, and how I can utilize those things to make the world a better place for my fellow brothers and sisters and gender nonconforming individuals, but black people in general. My sole goal is for the liberation of black people. I care about everyone, but black people are suffering at rates that no other people can could ever come close to in America. I've went through a lot of things and I've suffered from a lot of trauma throughout my life, that I can now start to make sense of, right? But some people, a lot of Black men have been put in environments and continue to be in environments that don't give them the clarity and the resources to understand what they're going through or know that they have an option and a way out of that mental prison. Some people don't even understand that they're depressed or that they have mental health issues, let alone think that they need to go see a doctor, let alone think that they need to check themselves into a hospital. Some people don't want to deal with the ridicule that they think will come from that. I went to the hospital scared as fuck. For real, scared as fuck. But I knew it was what I needed to do for myself, right? But I was ashamed. I didn't want anyone to know at first. Why? Every single person that I told said, "I'm so proud of you." After being there for 5 days, I was proud of me too. But I want to be proud of other people. I want other people to love themselves like I love myself, and I know that they love themselves and want to love themselves. We've all been through hell this year, and all of us are hurting. All of us have been through traumatic things. A lot of us have lost lives, multiple lives within our immediate families. So when someone sits there and tells me that COVID is a hoax, it makes me want to look at you and say, you should die. And my family members shouldn't deserve to die. When I hear that Lancaster State Police or Sheriff's Office is stating that they don't believe that people should wear masks mandatory wise, that they should have the right to exert their freedom of not wearing a mask, you sound fucking delusional. And you're showing that you have no regard for other lives. This is not the American way. And the rest of the world is being human, being responsible. The leader, supposed leader of our country that we had for 4 years, showed us that we should hate ourselves, right? He got all his followers to vote against their own necessities, their own, against their own health care. Like, you're taking advantage of these people, right? Okay, cool. But for the rest of us that have common sense, are literally being blindly led into the slaughterhouse. Clearly, it's not fair, right? Clearly, something has to be done. And that brings me back to mental health. Oh. Sierra, I fucking love you. And this is what I want people to be aware of, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of, okay? Seeking the help that you need for you is nothing to be ashamed of. Knowing what is best for you is nothing to be ashamed of. Going into the unknown, not knowing how you will come out, but knowing that it's going to be better than where you were coming from, it's okay to be fearful of that. It's okay to be scared. Because no one's life is perfect. And we've all been through some shit, especially this year. One thing that we can take in stride and faith is that we've all been through this together, right? And we're all strong together, right? The ones who don't parade around with American flags, right? We are the true Americans. And it's important that we remember that as body bags are being chucked into freezer trailers. You hear stories of COVID patients being put in a pit and no one touching them, and dead bodies being stored amongst people that are still alive but suffering from COVID and hanging on by a thread. This is what's going on in America right now. And you don't think that it doesn't affect people's mental? This is something that we're going to be dealing with the reverberations of for quite a while. And it's important to make sure that we do our best to love one another, celebrate the positive, the good, things that we have accomplished, because life is short. I don't want to lose any of you if I don't have to. If I can save someone's life by my story and what I went through, there are too many lives being lost unnecessarily, you know, from COVID-19. People that shouldn't have to die are being left to die, right? My grandfather lived a long life, okay? He's 87 years old, okay? I'm making peace with this. He's lived a long life and I don't want him to suffer. But there are people that are dying without their loved ones around and had no clue that, they were on this path to dying, you know? And people go on a downward spiral very quickly with this. It's not something that you just, you get it and sometimes you're gone. I can't help but always try and see good out of situations. And what I'm seeing out of this is me dealing with past trauma from childhood, dealing with sexual abuse, mental abuse, abandonment issues, chronic depression from the time I was 5 years old. Not always everyone, not always can everyone understand, and I get that. But it's time we start really diving into these things and talking about them and get to the root of them. Particularly with Black men. I was the only Black man in the floor that I was in. Mind you, I said I checked myself into the hospital, right? And I was there for a few days. I was the only Black man on the floor that I was in, the wing that I was in. There was a young Black man that came in. He's 20 years old. I could see how lost he was, right? And I just kept trying to encourage him and talk to him as much as I could. And he didn't get the help that he needed, and he left after a day. And I just hope that he's okay, because dude was lost, and he's only 20 years old. He never really had any real guidance in his life. He never had friends. He never was able to open up to people and talk to them and explain what was going on with him. And it made me realize, like, my God, there's so many other people. There's so many other Black men that are going through the same fucking shit. I got lucky. I was lucky that I have people that care about me. I have hundreds of people that want to see me do good. But what about the dude on the corner that's slanging whatever drug he's slanging? He needs help too. What about Walter Wallace, Ricardo Munoz? They needed help too. Why am I still here and they're not? And I mean that in a sense that, you know, everything happens for a reason, right? But when it comes to the Ricardos and the Walters of this world, we have to learn something from these situations and not just making, new laws with police and talking to, you know, city council members and getting things changed on that front. We really have to get to the root issues of why these things are not talked about in our communities, why people like myself, when I go through poor mental health episode, that I'm being treated with being behind bars instead of getting admitted to a hospital or being told I need a therapist. It's not okay. Black men are allowed to be vulnerable. They are allowed to show weakness and not be penalized or criminalized for that. I am turning a new leaf. I am getting a new lease on life. I'm making amends with my past, forgiving the people that I held accountable for the things that happened in my life because it's my fault. Whatever happens in your life is your fault. But it's what you do with what you're learning and where you're going that matters, that makes you who you are, that adds to your character. So, what are you going to do for yourself? What are you going to do for someone else? How are you going to make this world a better place for our children, for our ancestors that went through so much and received no help? They received a whip on their back. They received a baby in their womb. And the only time a black man is praised in 2020 is if he's dribbling a ball or slaying cash in a music video. I'm proud that I made the choice to do what I did, and I stand by that. That is something you should be proud of too. It's important to love yourself and get the help that you need. Right, Bree. I I've embarked on a new journey, right? That I never thought that I would, take. I never thought that things would take me down this road. I've dealt with mental health issues for so long. And events that have taken place this year, this summer, this fall, took me to a place that I never thought I would be, right? But I didn't realize how deep it took me. And now I'm realizing that it took a lot of other people pretty deep too. You got to wise up and know what's best for you. And I will reiterate, a black man being vulnerable, showing all of his emotions is okay. It's okay. It's okay for you to be you. And it's okay to not be okay. As long as you're honest with yourself, as long as you're honest with someone else as well. Again, CBD. I love myself and I want you to love you too. And part of doing that is taking care of not only your heart, your hunger, your desires, your wants, your needs, but this most important, because your mind can be your worst enemy, but it's also your biggest tool and asset. And it's a fragile, fragile thing. See, we black folk don't get the full understanding that, rich white people get. We don't get the comfort that they get. We have to start creating our own resources for ourselves. There is a mental health initiative here in Lancaster area specifically for black people. And I'm going to share this information and you can fill out the form if you need this help. If you know someone that needs this help or could utilize these resources, please feel free to fill it out. All right. I think I said all that I wanted to say for now. And I feel a lot better that I got this off my chest. And I hope that it helps someone else. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. I'm not embarrassed about it though, but it was just hard to come out and say. But I'm gonna step out front and say that it's necessary. And I want to normalize this. Black mental health matters. You matter. I matter. Your mother, your father, your grandparents, your cousins, they all matter. I don't care if it was somebody down on 52nd in Walnut or somebody living in the boonies in Altoona. If you're black, you fucking matter to me. And if you're human, you fucking matter to me. If you're a Trumper, you still matter. You're still living amongst us. Okay? We're all connected. So even if I'm taking care of my people, we're taking care of our people, we're mixing and mingling, things are still affecting all of us. Some people don't take life serious, and some people only care about their own lives. But we need to start opening up. We need to start opening our eyes. The year is coming to an end. What do you want 2021 to be like for you? Are you going to make a change to be the person that you know you are inside? Or are you going to continue to mask the pain with things? I did mask the pain with cigarettes, coffee, excuses, weed, you know, and going through that is only subjecting yourself to prolonging that pain. Yeah, you don't have to subject yourself to that. Love yourself, care for yourself. That's all I want to say for now. Thank you for listening, and I love you all. And again, I'm proud of me. So I want you to be proud of you. And if you're listening and you can relate or you have any issues going on that you need help with, reach out, speak out, shout it out. Someone's going to listen. Okay? I love you.